hope this video finds you well and making the most of your day. If you are new here, I'm Christopher and welcome. If you like lifestyle, luxury, planning, and organization, basically, if you like anything, you will find something for yourself here on this channel. And if you're going to hang out with me here on YouTube, you better hop over to my Instagram and join me over there as well. It is a great way to connect and get to know each other a little bit better. Today, I am bringing you a video that has probably been the most requested video that I've ever received, and that is, what are my favorite books? For those who have been following me for a while, you know that I am an avid reader, and asking me to pick my favorite book is like asking a parent to pick their favorite child. So I did my best to pick some of my all-time favorite books, some recent reads and some long ago reads that continue to be my favorites. If you've watched the channel for a long time, some of these will come as no surprise. And if you think you know which one will be no surprise, I will save that one to the end and leave a comment right now as you're watching which one you think is going to be my all-time favorite. For those who know me, you know which one it is. I'm just going to dive in. They are in no particular order. Let's get going. The first series I'm going to talk about, which some of you might actually have picked as the favorite book of all time, but it's not. So maybe this will change your mind of what you end up commenting down below. But the Anne of Green Gables series is one of my all-time favorites. You can see by the look of mine are yellowed with age. I love these for two really particular reasons. A, I connect with Anne in such a big way. Her curiosity, a little bit of mischievousness, just her perspective of life and the way she deals with trials and the way she overcomes things. And I don't know, I just connect with her as a character, but I think the reason this series is so important to me is the connection it holds for me and my grandmother. I remember spending a summer on her porch swing with her reading this entire series to me. And then we watched the movies with Megan Follows, but it's just such a great series. I think it goes for every age. It's just fantastic. I do love Anne of Green Gables, but I will be honest, my favorite book of the series is Anne of the Island. That's just my favorite. No particular reason, I just love that. The next book I'm going to talk about is one that I've read, many years ago, but it keeps coming back as a recommendation I give to others. And that is Wally Lamb's book, She's Come Undone. If you love a character study, this book is fantastic. It follows a girl named Dolores Price, who battles with her weight, battles with relationships. It's a coming of age story. Talks about the wounds that we carry through life and how it affects every choice that we make. It is such an intriguing book, emotional at times, humorous at times. It's just a really great book. I think Wally Lamb has a way to write that really allows you to get into the character's feeling as she travels through this journey of womanhood. And what I also love about this book is it allows you to follow a character for a long span of time and just see how all these little things have made her who she is. It also allows you to reflect on your wounds and how you carry them and how they affect the decisions that you make in life. This is just a fantastic book. It's really great. Wally Lamb's She's Come Undone. Another oldie but goodie. I read this so many years ago, and I often realize that the books that really impact me, not only were they great books, but they were so great that I can remember exactly where I was. So I remember I was living on my own in Charlotte, North Carolina before I had met Steven, and I was reading this book, and then my parents and my family and the rest of my family rented a house in Deep Creek, Maryland, and that is where I finished this book. When I can remember exactly where I was, I know it was a really good one. And that is Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible. This is about a group of missionaries who go into the Congo during the revolution. This is a page turner in a heart ripping out book. It has characters that you become so invested in. And what I think is important is you become invested in these characters that you love. You've become invested in characters that you feel so bad for, and then you also become invested in a particular character that you will despise. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to give too much away, but there is a character in this book that you will want to rip out of the pages and just shake and figure out what is wrong with them. This book is once again just a beautiful written story about a traumatic time for this group of missionaries. They are a family, and just the decisions they make in the hype and the chaos of the world around them and how it impacts their family. And it's just absolutely fantastic. It's so great. The next book I have to share is one that's a little bit happier. Well, actually, it's a lot happier. It's called Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things, and it's by Jenny Lawson. I remember where I was reading this book. I was traveling for work. I was at LaGuardia Airport, and I grabbed it off the shelf and bought it because I had just finished the previous book that I was reading. And I started reading it in the terminal, and I was laughing out loud so hard because she takes such a serious topic of depression and anxiety and debilitating mental illness that she has experienced, and she writes about it in the most humorous, lighthearted way. And you will be able to relate to so many things in this book. I suffer with anxiety, and I could connect to so many things. I'm like, oh my God, I do that too. Like, just the way it is written is hysterical. You cannot stop laughing. What I also really like about the book is it's like, almost feels like you're reading like a collection of short stories. So like you feel like you can pick it up and put it down as much as you need, but it is so funny. This is a laugh out loud book. Like, you will be dying laughing. I love it. Furiously Happy, Jennifer Lawson. So good. Jane Austen is probably my favorite author. There are not many Jane Austen books that I don't love. I have several all over the house, but this is my collection of 7 novels by Jane Austen. She's just a fantastic writer, and what is so interesting is how relevant her stories are still today. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, those are probably 3 of my top favorites. I also love Persuasion. It's a fantastic novel as well. I'm not going to go into them. Everyone has heard of Jane Austen, but if you've not read any Jane Austen, I challenge you to do so. I think people think because it's like such a classic novelist that you won't find it relevant, you won't find it interesting, you'll find a hard time understanding it. She writes amazing stories, and they are so fantastic. I can't put them down. Anytime I see a collection, I buy them just because I love having them. Jane Austen is also a book that I gift quite frequently to others. I just think everyone should have read Jane Austen in their lifetime. So if you've not, that's your challenge. Oh, and by the way, pick this up at Barnes & Noble. They will always have like classic authors collections in one big book. That is a really reasonable way to get so many of her great works in one book. That's where I got this, and it's beautiful. The next book will be no surprise because I think I recommended it a couple times. That is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. It follows a girl named Star Carter who balances within 2 worlds. She lives in a poor Black neighborhood, but also goes to a very wealthy prep suburban school. And it really talks about like these 2 lives within she lives. It confronts race in a really great way. I think this is a book that like high schoolers, even some middle schoolers, like every kid should be reading this. I think adults should be reading it. Anyway, she also witnesses the shooting death of her friend Khalil. So it talks about that whole journey and her experiences within that. And then it brings in the whole police aspect of it. Timely, yes. And just how the police approach this investigation around Khalil's death. Once again, I think this is a book, if you're a high school teacher or a middle school teacher, I think this is one worth exploring with your children. If you're a parent, I think it's one that you and your child should read together and talk about. I think it's important that we discuss books with historical context, that revisit things from our past, that are presently rooted in things we are experiencing as a country. This book does a fantastic job of doing that. I encourage you to push your children to read this. Whether you're a teacher or a parent, and I encourage you to read it as well, The Hate U Give. The next book is a recent purchase and read, and to be honest, I have now read this book through 2 entire times. It is marked up and highlighted and flagged, but it is Body Positive Power by Megan Jane Crabe. I don't want to say it wrong, but I probably am. I'm also going to leave her Instagram link down below because her Instagram is one of the most positive places on the internet. But this is Body Positive Power, How to Stop Dieting, Make Peace with Your Body, and Live. This is not for just women, it is for men, it is for grown women, it is for teenagers. It is so well written and has shifted my perspective on how I view myself, and it is so ridiculously powerful. I couldn't put it down, and the first time I read it, I just read it to read it. The second time, I went through and highlighted, marked up, and shared things that really resonated with me with others. This is a book that I have gifted to a friend of mine. She talks very transparently about her body image issues, which I feel like so many of us can connect with, and it's just a fantastic book. Anyone who struggles, which isn't it all of us, with body image and dieting and that circle in which we feel that we're on, is truly become one of my favorites that I've ever read, just because of her ability to talk about such a topic and make it so relatable to such a wide expansive audience. It's great. Now it is time for my last book, and if you said Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad, you are absolutely correct. And I just want to say, I was sharing this on my channel before Oprah ever even announced that it would be an Oprah Book Club look. It is like my one thing that I'm so proud of. This book is the most profound, impactful book that I have ever read. I get emotional every time I talk about this book. I've talked about it so many times on my channel, so I'm not going to go into it a ton, but I'm going to leave videos linked down below where I really go into detail. Colson Whitehead's writing, first of all, is the most beautiful writing I have ever read. It takes place in the south of Georgia with a slave named Cora who is terribly mistreated, who is almost kind of ostracized by even the other slaves there. She doesn't fit in, she's coming into womanhood. So there's that whole aspect of it. And then she goes to escape through the Underground Railroad, and each stage of the journey, this is truly an Odyssey tale, but each stage of the journey is like a whole other story, a whole other person you meet. You understand their background, and then you see how Cora carries that experience with her on her journey. It is the most beautifully written book. Heart-wrenching. I mean, every human being should read this book because it really is the most powerful piece of text that I've ever touched in my lifetime. I have gifted this book at least a dozen times to other people because I think it is that important for people to read. Whenever I am like putting together a gift for someone, this book often finds its way to them because I just think it is one of the most remarkable pieces of work that we have had in our lifetime. And I encourage you, if you've not yet read it, to pick it up and read it. It will change your life and gain you so much historical context around slavery in the United States and exactly what it was, which we all will blanketly say that it was terrible. You have no idea. You have no idea. This book completely has impacted me in huge ways, and I know the people I've shared it with, it has impacted. So do yourself a favor as a human being and read Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad. All right, my friends, this is a perfect time for this video because a lot of you are heading on vacation, so you're going to spend some time traveling, and these are some great books to pick up and take along with you on your travels. You will not regret it. When I recommend a book, I make sure that it is something that I feel like resonates with people and is important to read, for some reason or purpose, and those are books that I truly, truly love, and ones that I continue to reach for and gift to others. If you like this video, because so many of you have been wanting it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And in the meantime, I'm going to leave this video like I leave all of my videos. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and be kind. Kindness is free, my friends, so give it to everyone. Until next time.